Winning Blueprint presents.
5 minutes or less.
Had so much success with it before, I'm back with the 5 minute or less series. This time, I'm back with the 5 minute or less scheduled release series. Welcome. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me here with the Detroit Lions in 5 minutes or less, the scheduled release. Got 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get started. So anytime I look at a schedule, the first thing I like to look at is primetime games. And for the Detroit Lions, there's two on the schedule. We always know the annual Thanksgiving game is going to be on the schedule. I think that's a tradition that should never change. I love the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys always playing on Thanksgiving. You can call me a purist if you like, but I think the Lions belong on Thanksgiving. They're synonymous with Thanksgiving, and they're there once again this season. They have the Green Bay Packers on Thanksgiving at home in Week 13. Big matchup for the Detroit Lions. They got to find a way to beat the Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Bears, and the better teams in their division. The Lions were terrible in the division last season. They have to start winning games in the division if they want to compete with the Green Bay Packers, with the Chicago Bears of the world in the NFC North. So, huge game on Thanksgiving for the Detroit Lions. You look at Monday Night Football tilt. The Detroit Lions are on Monday Night Football versus the Super Bowl defending champion Baltimore Ravens in Week 15, so they're at home. Big game. Ravens coming to town. It's a statement game for the Detroit Lions. Let's hope, if you're a Lions fan, that in Week 15 this game has some importance to it. Look, Week 15 is a long time away, and so by that time you could be 4-10 going into that football game. You need to make sure that that game matters. Let's see what that game means in Week 15, but that's a huge matchup against the Baltimore Ravens at home. You look at your divisional games. Green Bay, Week 13, you got them at home. We just talked about that. Thanksgiving, they're coming to your place in Week 13 for Thanksgiving. Week 5, you got to go to Green Bay. Early season matchup on the road against a tough opponent, the division champs from a season ago. Got to find a way to clip the Green Bay Packers if you are the Detroit Lions. You look at Minnesota. Week 1, right out of the gate, you got the Minnesota Vikings at home. You have to find a way to beat the Vikings. This was a team that swept you a season ago. You got to find a way to beat the Minnesota Vikings. That's first and foremost. You look at Week 17, you're going to finish up the season at Minnesota. So that could be for a lot. That could be for a playoff spot. That could be for the division. Who knows? We don't know what the cards hold for you, but that's a huge game at the end of the season. You look at the Chicago Bears. You got them in Week 4. So again, another early season matchup within the division. You're at home. Got to find a way to win games within the division at home especially. You look at the Bears on the road, Week 10. You got to go to Chicago, see if you can get it done. You had opportunities. You let it slip away last year. Wasn't effective enough on offense. Let's see if you can get some victories within the division, especially against a team like the Chicago Bears. If you want to win this division, you're going to have to find a way to beat the Bears and the Packers. You look at anomalies. And for me, an anomaly in the schedule is 3 or more games at home or on the road in a row. And so you either have one of those, you could have 3 out of 4 on the road or at home, or you could have the occasional. And look, this is rare in the National Football League to have 4 out of 5 games either at home or on the road. The Detroit Lions have both 4 out of 5 at home and away. So they have a home and an away anomaly. That's huge. Not many teams can say, hey, we play both 4 out of 5 at home and 4 out of 5 on the road. That's a staggering amount of games at home or on the road in a cluster. 4 out of 5 on the road, 4 out of 5 at home. Tough to go 4 out of 5 on the road. You're loving the 4 out of 5 at home, but at some point, the schedule is going to balance itself out. So you look at your home 4 out of 5. Week 12 versus Tampa Bay. Got them at home. Week 13, Green Bay at home. We talked about it. That's the Thanksgiving game. Week 15, Baltimore, Monday Night Football game. We talked about that. Week 16, at home, the Giants. So that's a tough stretch of football at the end of the season. You get your away anomaly earlier on in the season. Week 2 at Arizona. Week 3 at Washington. Week 5 at Green Bay. Week 6 at Cleveland. So Early on in the season, you got to weather the storm, get some wins on the road, find a way to beat some quality opponents on the road. If you can find a way to take 2 out of those 4 road games, get the one at home as well, come out of that stretch winning 3 out of 5, you'll take that if you're the Detroit Lions. So you look at your bye week, week 9, and you look at the coach seed, and that's the circle on the calendar game. And for me, Thanksgiving, week 13 versus the Packers, got to have it if you are the Detroit Lions. And for me, there's a timeout on every team's schedule in the National Football League. Your timeout is that you have 2 anomalies, both 4 out of 5 on your schedule as an anomaly for both home and away. That is huge. Not many teams can lay claim to having to play 4 out of 5 at home and on the road, both on the same schedule. The Lions have that on their schedule. You hear that sound in the background. That means this has been the Detroit Lions schedule release in 5 minutes or less.
5 minutes or less.